在大阪英国総領事兼大阪・関西万博英国陳列区域代表キャロリン・デービッドソンさんです。よろしくお願いいたします。
It's probably the worst gig ever to be speaking after Mark, but I shall try. So thank you very much for the warm welcome, and I just want to echo what he said about what an amazing place Kindai University is. It's the first time that I visited here, and yeah, it's just blown away. It is an amazing location. I gather it's one of the largest universities in East Asia, and lots of different campuses elsewhere, but I'm pretty sure the Osaka one is the best. So it's a great opportunity to be here. Many thanks for the invitation. So we were asked to talk a bit about the UK and our approach to Expo. So a bit like Mark did, talking about the Netherlands, except I haven't got a nice snazzy video. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the UK. So who knows what UK stands for? Nobody? So UK stands for United Kingdom. And we are the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And Great Britain is made up of Scotland, Wales, and England. So within the UK, we have what we call four nations: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. That's a really difficult concept in Japan because there is no way to translate nation that doesn't become country. It just becomes koku. And so how can we have a koku that has four more koku inside it? It just doesn't work. But we are very proud of the fact that we are four nations. And one of the things that we will be showcasing at our pavilion is very much the fact that we are four nations. It's also very confusing because when we play certain sports, like the Football World Cup, it means we have four teams. So I have a really good chance, when I'm the British Consul General, of being able to support four teams in the World Cup. Whereas most Consul Generals only have one team that they can support. And then in the Olympics, we just have one team, which is confusingly called Team GB, not Team UK. So anyway, the key thing to note is the flag. That's always an indication that it's the UK, but we go by very many names. And I, as I was introduced, am the British Consul General. We talk about the British Consulate General and the British Embassy. So we have two diplomatic missions here in Japan. We have an embassy in Tokyo, where we have His Majesty's Ambassador, and then myself here in Osaka with a team here, His Majesty's Consul General. And it's just interesting to note that we were both appointed by, we were actually appointed by the Queen, because we were appointed in 2021, but we are known as His Majesty's Ambassador and Consul General. So much like Japan, we have a constitutional monarchy. But because Japan is such an important country and we have many different areas where we work with Japan, we have lots of different government departments as part of our embassy and consulate general here. So I've listed up on the chart there all the different departments who are operating. So we have officials from lots of different departments in London, and we also have representatives of those other three nations that I talked about: Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The further confusing thing is that England does not have a separate government, so we only have representatives for three of our devolved administrations. We also have a British Council. Unfortunately, we don't have a British Council in Osaka or Kyoto anymore, but that is our overseas cultural organisation and does a lot of English language teaching. And then we have Visit Britain, which does exactly what it says and encourages everybody to come and see the UK. So this is what our aim is of our activity here in Japan. And I think the word I would highlight here is partnership. It's all about partnership. We work very closely with both the Japanese national government, but also here in Osaka with the regional government, with the cities, with the prefectures, with business. We have many Japanese companies who are headquartered here in Osaka who have investment in the UK, Panasonic, Kyocera, Takeda, Shionogi, lots of them, Sumitomo Electric, Kansai Electric, so lots of links, not only between Japan and the UK, but also between Kansai and the UK. And we are looking, as has been said many times before this morning, to respond effectively to global challenges. So effectively what we are looking to do at Expo is what we are doing in our daily work already, and when we work with the Japanese government and industry. But Expo will be an amazing opportunity to do all of that in a concentrated space for 6 months here in Osaka. So this is our pavilion. Our aim is to build on that theme of partnership, and our tagline is "Come build the future." So, and just to show where our pavilion is on the site, we are down by the water's edge. So we will have a great view of the water, especially from our upper terrace bar. So I encourage all of you to come there for your evening sundowners and to watch the amazing fireworks displays that will be on at the Expo site during the 6 months next year. And so this is what lies behind our theme of Come Build the Future. The UK's key themes here are about being open, being inclusive, and being a partner. As was mentioned previously, you know, we have a long history with expos. The first expo in 1851, was held in London, and we also have a long history with Japan. My Dutch colleague talked about the arrival of Murat Angin in 1600 when he came on the Dutch ship De Liefde. And then in the 19th century, we had the Choshu Five, who went off to Britain to learn about the Industrial Revolution in Britain and bring that technology back to Japan. Some of those people who went, one of those people who went, then came back and founded the Osaka Chamber of Commerce. So the links between Osaka and Manchester are very strong. It is not for nothing that Osaka is known as Manchester of the East. And it was that sort of the idea of sharing technology and sharing ideas, which I think has driven the UK-Japan relationship throughout its history. And that is very much still at the heart of what we're trying to do. And that is very much what's at the heart of our pavilion and the future beyond Expo. So our pavilion has the appearance of building blocks, and we see ideas as those little building blocks. And the UK is a place where those ideas come together. We have had a great history of many inventions which started in the UK. The steam engine, the telephone, inventor of the World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee is British. So we have a lot of history of invention, but it's not because we have the best ideas, it's because we provide a place where the best ideas can come together. And the reason we are able to do that is because we welcome people from all over the world, and we welcome different ways of thinking and diverse ideas. So diverse ideas and people, when they come together in the right environment, lead to really big world-changing innovation. And that is the theme that underpins our pavilion. And excuse me. So as part of this, we will show that everybody here, everybody who visits our pavilion, everybody has their own ideas. Those ideas are capable of changing the world. And as others have highlighted, the world is facing unprecedented challenges at the moment. So we need all the best ideas that we can get. And our focus at our pavilion will be about encouraging how those ideas can come together to deliver that big transformational change. So this is just a summary of what I said. I mean, effectively, the UK is often seen, certainly by many people in Japan, as a country of the royal family, of castles, of cream teas. I think that's, and possibly whiskey. But we also have a lot of, as well as a lot of tradition and history, we also have a lot of diversity. We, our queen who died 2 years ago was, had been on the throne for 70 years. She had an Instagram account. So she combined tradition with modernity. And we have very, very old universities, Oxford and Cambridge. They are leading the most cutting edge, innovative technology. And we have old theatres across the whole of the country, which are showing very new creative talent. And our famous writers stretch from Shakespeare to Kazuo Ishiguro. So, and from Peter Rabbit to Paddington. So I think the idea is that it's not all tradition. You have to you can have tradition, and we have tradition, but we are also very open to new ideas. And we are very proud of the fact that while we are a small island nation, we are home to people from every country on the globe. And our capital city, London, is, there are over 300 languages spoken in London by the inhabitants of that city. So this is, you know, the UK is a place where one small idea can grow to change the world, and we want to work with visitors to Expo and the countries participating in Expo to be able to do that next year. So the SDGs, obviously very important, and next year is an important milestone as we assess how we are doing on our progress. I think the fact is we're doing not terribly well, woefully behind, which is why it's even more important that at Expo we take stock and work internationally, which is what Expos do, to address those challenges. And in that, you know, just looking at all these SDGs here, the one that always strikes me as being the most important is number 17, which is the partnerships for goals. And that is what Expo is about. Expo is about that partnership. My Dutch colleague talked about common ground, about people coming together. It is, you know, there will be 160 countries in the one place. There will be lots of visitors from Japan, from other countries in the world. There will be lots of senior people. There will be lots of business people. There will be a huge number of opportunities for people to build those partnerships. And that is what we are hoping to achieve. So our presence at Expo, we have got 3 SDGs that we are particularly focused on: climate action, life below water, and life on land. I think these are all, and our actual pavilion is in the Saving Lives zone. But I think what I do want to flag is just the whole sustainability piece about this. And particularly give some, for example, some examples of what we have been doing on circular economy, particularly. So the scourge of plastic around the world is a major challenge and is causing no end of environmental degradation and biodiversity loss, which impacts on both on land life under the sea and life on land. And one of the professors from a British university in Plymouth was the one who alerted the world to the danger of microplastics. In the UK, or rather in England, we have brought in a ban. Sorry, this slide is a bit outdated. It says October this year. Obviously, we haven't had October this year. October last year, they had a single-use plastic ban in England. So you can't buy sort of single-use cutlery or plastic cups in the UK, or so to reduce the scourge of plastic. And we also have a big focus on reducing and reusing products so that we reduce the amount of waste. So not just looking to recycle, because recycling also takes energy, but actually reducing the amount of products that are out there, the amount of packaging that's out there in the world in the first instance. And our pavilion design is very much part of our focus on sustainability and addressing climate action. The pavilion will be built using steel and structures that were used in the Tokyo Olympics. It's a British company who are designing and building this. And after the Tokyo Olympics, the steel went back to the UK. It's now on a ship on its way back to Japan, and it will be reused to build our pavilion at Expo. And after Expo, it will go on to be used somewhere else. So, because one of the criticisms often leveled at Expos is that they are only for 6 months. They are very short term. But by using pre-existing and pre-used steel, we are reducing the climate impact of our pavilion at Expo. And finally, I just wanted to talk about some of the activities we're doing now. 13th of April 2024 marked 1 year to go until Expo starts. We have begun a campaign called Mission to Expo, and here in Japan we will have a whole series of events and activities throughout this year which will be aligned with the themes that you see here on the screen. And all these themes align with the Theme Week themes, which Sako-san talked about before, Kasai-san talked about before, as part of the the activity that will be going on at Expo during 2025. So do look out for lots of activity around all of that over the course of this year. And I just wanted to show you now the video we shared on social media on the 13th of April, marking our 1 year to go.
What have I told you about sitting in my chair? Oh, what's this? One year to Expo. Mission accepted. Wait, Paddington, it says here, you might have a friend coming to Japan.
So there will be more of those, as you say, it's to be continued. And I think, well, I hope what that video showed is that we are also determined, as part of our presence at Expo, to have a bit of fun along the way. I think the UK is a bit like people in Osaka, known for its humour and its quirky approach to things. Most of you here today are probably too young to remember, but when we had our London Olympics, the opening ceremony involved a scene where the Queen jumped out of a helicopter with James Bond. So that it's that sort of approach that we also want to bring to Expo, because it has, Expo is going to be very educational and inspirational. It also has to be fun, because we need to engage the attention of a lot of people. And, we can engage the attention of people of your age and above, but we also need to engage the attention of children who are younger than you, because they are the ones who are really going to be affected by this future that we're talking now. So we want them to be interested and engaged. And I suspect just talking about SDGs is not going to be the way to engage them. So we will be thinking about what are the interesting, fun and interactive ways that we can engage with people at our pavilion. And finally, just to close, one of the other things that we think are really, really important and a key message about Expo is actually bringing people together. So there will be 160 different countries represented at Expo. There will be representatives from all those countries present at Expo. There will be a lot of Japanese visitors. There'll be a lot of international visitors. It is an amazing opportunity for exchange of ideas, to get to know other nationalities, other cultures. As Sako-san said, it is, knowing somebody else's culture, being curious about somebody else's culture is really, really important. So we are doing a lot of stuff to encourage those people-to-people links. And part of the in sort of sharing the knowledge of other cultures, in the UK next month, we are having an Ekiden, the first ever Ekiden in the UK, which is based on the Hakone Ekiden, and it will run from Oxford to Windsor. It is sponsored by the Nikkei, so they obviously see it as also a very valuable opportunity to build the links between UK and Japan. But more importantly, we will have members of our team who are working on Expo running in the Ekiden, because it's also a really good message about the power of people coming together. So I think I would just want to close there, but as I said at the beginning, it's a really amazing opportunity, Expo. The chance to visit the world in one place, for the world to come together in one place, and for those of you who are here in Osaka to come to one place on your doorstep is absolutely phenomenal. I do hope you will make the most of that opportunity and work with us and other participating countries to come and build the future. Thank you.